started oh,
Hey, welcome back. This is week two. I guess it's preseason week two of Amateur Hour podcast. We're recording this Wednesday night before the season opener of the NFL season. David, welcome on. Thanks for coming.
hey, thanks for having me as always. It's a pleasure being with you, buddy.
You had off today.
I had off today, yeah. I worked the weekend for Labor Day, so we get compensated a day before and a day after. So I got one last Thursday off and then this today, so Wednesday off. So shout out the government.
Well, thank you for your service.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Yeah, I had 5 days off, and we had Nick Diltz's wedding Saturday. Um, and then I was just an absolute dud the next 3 days. So laid on the couch, took naps, and so work was very difficult.
So
It's
Nick
like,
Diltz is hitched, huh?
yeah, he's
Officially?
hitched. He's officially married. Yeah.
What's he
Congrats to
doing for his
Nick.
honeymoon?
Congrats to Monica. Yeah, I don't know if pretty sure they don't have one planned soon, but I think they want to do something within the next year. So if you listen, you probably won't, but congrats.
We
I
won't
had a
give the
great time.
official dates that Nick will be gone from his house for his honeymoon so that he can't get robbed. But we're looking forward to your honeymoon already, Nick. I hope you have a great time wherever you go.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, this is a fun time of year. You're excited. Summer's over. Kids are going back to school. Football's starting. There's something to do on Sundays.
Is
What the
there a
rest will
bigger
begin.
is there a bigger difference? I was thinking about that today when I was just doing a whole lot of nothing. I was like, is there a bigger difference of the transition from summer to fall from when you're a kid and how devastating it is to when you're an adult? And just like I love the transition from summer to fall because summer doesn't do much for me anymore. Obviously we still have to work through it and stuff like that. Like I like summer, but I think fall is probably my favorite season. So it's like a much more exciting transition.
Yeah, I'm always ready for summer when it comes. It's nice to get outside and golf, but it does. Now, imagine their football is not a sport. Do you think you'd be as excited for fall?
Not as excited, no, but I do like the weather. It's hoodie weather, it's jogger weather, it's fall golf is excellent. You can wear quarter zips and golf pants. So uh I wouldn't like it as much because obviously football plays a big part, but yeah, I still like the key components of fall for sure.
Okay, all right, big fall guy.
What's your favorite season?
Um, I would probably say summer.
Summer, you're a summer boy.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if I lived in the South, I don't think I would like the summer, but up in the northern Wisconsin, Minnesota, Iowa's honestly kind of hot in the summer. I think in Iowa, spring and fall are really nice in Iowa because it stays like hot till October almost,
Yeah,
you know.
you
But
get that in Green Bay. You get that Lake Winnebago breeze,
no, the like Michigan.
like Michigan. Yeah, sure.
Yes, yes. We're on the Green Bay is right on Lake Michigan, dude.
Yeah, you're pretty close. Yeah, what do you like? 45 minutes from Lake Michigan?
No, the Bay of Green Bay is Lake Michigan.
Oh. Well, oh yeah, okay, because I was in Nina, and then I had to drive to like basically Lake Michigan. What's that town that Jessica was living in with an M?
Oh,
It's right on the lake.
Manitowoc, that's
Yeah,
right by there.
Manitowoc. Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
So
and
I was thinking of from Nina to Manitowoc. It was like 45 minutes.
You're right because we're on the bay and we're land side, like it doesn't affect us as much. But yeah, if you go on Manitowoc, Sheboygan, like in the summer, it could be 95 degrees in like Madison, but if you're on those towns right on the lake, it'll be like 78 because the
I always considered that when I was looking for a school to go to. I was looking at Concordia and Mequon, right on the
yeah,
lake.
right on
I
the
was
lake.
like, damn, the summers and stuff would be perfect weather, but then I bet you the winters would be even more brutal than they normally are.
Yeah, and I think they probably are.
Yeah.
That wind rolls off that lake faster than shit. There's
Hell
nothing.
yeah. It's like Chicago, dude, a wind tunnel.
Um, so I'm gonna share my screen quick. Just want to give a shout out to everyone in the pick'em. It's looking big this year. We got 26 players. I think I can fit them all in there. Um, Male heavy again, but I think we have 6 or 7 females. And I'm really excited. My wife's
Yeah, I saw
joining.
Carla joined. I think that's a little bit of collusion going on there. I think
No.
spouses always get, raise a red flag to me. It always perks my ears up a little bit when I see spouses in there. Seems like tough games, tough matchups. You guys just can just go the opposite direction, and one of you are bound to win. But it's okay. I'm a big let everybody play type of guy, so I'm excited to have Carla join this year.
Yeah. And I would pick if I had to pick someone besides myself to do well this year, I'll pick Carla. She always does well in the March Madness.
Yeah,
She's just got a
she's a sharp.
yeah.
I need to
Just
start texting her for NFL picks this year to put money on because my picks don't usually go very well.
yeah. Anyone you think besides yourself that's going to do well?
I'm gonna say two names here. One that does well, and one that bounces back. How about that? So number one who does well, we'll shout out the recently married guy Nick Dilts. Kind of had a little bit of a slump last year. He kind of went downhill, but I think he spikes right back uphill this year after getting married. I think the vibes have completely reversed. The Packers are going to be shitty this year, so he's going to be a little bit depressed on that side of things. But I think his pick'em picks just skyrocket, and he has a good season in the pick'em. And then the guy that I think has vast improvement from last year is Nirvan. Shout out
Yes.
Nirvan. Couldn't have had a worse player last year. Nirvan was rock bottom, just bottom of the barrel along with Sepka. But the problem is Sepka only picked half the games. So Nirvan, just to be even in that same company when picking all or most of the games, I think Nirvan takes some improvement this year.
Do you want to give me your lock of the week? I will.
Well, are you going to name some names besides Carla that you think might do well or you think will improve from last year? Like Kyle Acker, he was ass last year, wasn't he? He can't do any worse. I mean,
We have a couple new guys, some over from my dynasty fantasy football league. So I guess I don't know if they'll do well, but I'm excited to see how they perform and if they enjoy it. And that'd be Jake Waldschmidt and Brian Glazinski. I don't know if I pronounced that right, but really nice guys.
do you even know these guys?
Yeah, we do the fantasy dynasty rookie
Well,
draft.
that doesn't mean anything. Do you know them?
Yeah,
Okay.
like
Have you hung out with them in person?
Jake was in Nick's wedding party, so I spent all bachelor weekend with him. I've known Nick's been friends with him since college, so I've known him on and off for
Okay, so it's more so Nick's buddy.
yeah. So yeah, just excited to see how the new ones do. I think we got 4 or 5 new ones.
Who's
So
Ryan Billman at the bottom there?
that's Jake Waldschmidt's friend. So I don't know him, but I introduced myself over text message.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Looking forward to having him. Evan Kochever coming in from California.
That's right.
We're spreading our wings throughout the country. It looks
We
like
are.
so.
Yeah. So I got my. I'm gonna scroll here. Do you want to go first with your lock of the week?
Yeah, my lock of the week. I'm gonna have to cash this in with the Jacksonville Jaguars -4.5 at Indianapolis. So that's the one problem is it's on the road at Indianapolis, but I think Indy's going to be pretty bad this year again. They're probably going to start with having Garner Minshew start. I don't know if they've announced if Anthony Richardson is the starter, but either way, it's either Garner Minshew or a rookie. And it looks like a lot of America agrees with me. 84% picked the Jaguars. So I think Jacksonville is going to be really good this year. I think they have a really weak schedule. They have the weakest division. You had hinted at that last episode. So I think Trevor Lawrence starts out hot here. Calvin Ridley bounces back from his long suspension for the gambling. And I think the Jaguars easily cover -4.5.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to pick a noon game. I think I'm gonna go with the Vikings over the Buccaneers. I don't know. I know that teams can surprise you, but there hasn't been much news or players I've seen on the Buccaneers that really get me excited. I think they have a new coaching regime. I just think there's a lot of new things going on. And Vikings are at home. I think they can win by a touchdown. They're favored by 6.5. So I'll go the
Yeah,
Vikings.
I don't hate that at all.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds great now, and you watch they'll curb stomp the Vikings.
So John does not believe in Baker Mayfield. You don't believe in Baker Mayfield? Is that what I'm
uh,
hearing?
no, really excited for the guy to be a first round pick. That's good for him, but I just don't. I don't. I don't know. He just doesn't have it. I'm sorry to say. He kind of reminds me of a poor man's Tim Tebow. That's what he reminds me of.
What?
Just not as athletic.
They're nowhere near the same.
They kind of throw it the same. They look the same when they throw it. Like it's a form that looks good in college, but when you get to the pros, it doesn't. It just doesn't.
That's
Trip you.
how that's how the listeners know that you don't know ball, dude.
Yeah. Well, that's apparent. My fantasy stud of the week. Again, Dave and I try to pick someone outside the top, 12 top 12 players at each position. So outside of the top 12 wide receivers, running backs, we're not going to say Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase or Christian McCaffrey. Um, Quarterbacks and tight ends, I think we should set the success level a little higher. I think you got to pick someone outside like the top 8 because I just don't, there's not as many quarterbacks and tight ends, and if they do really well.
Yeah, I
But
guess
like for
sure.
example, one could say Sam Howell or Baker Mayfield, and
Yeah,
if they would land in the top 6 for the week, I think that's a win.
yeah, quarterbacks for sure. Yeah, tight ends are. I don't think tight ends are a very deep position, so I think that's a little different. But
Yeah,
I
but
won't
I
pick a lot
think
of tight ends, so we don't have to worry about that.
I'm gonna go running back, and I'm gonna go Dameon Pierce of Houston. They're at Baltimore.
What rank is Dameon Pierce in positions for running backs? He's probably top 10
21.
for positions. Or is this is like flex?
Yeah,
Oh, running back 21. Oh, I see that.
I got it.
Okay, fair enough. He's just a starting running back for Houston, so I figured. Oh, I guess it's at Baltimore. You think he's gonna do well at Baltimore?
I just think he's going to
Elaborate.
get so many opportunities. I think he's going to ball.
All right, that's fair.
So
I
I
think.
I I've been reading reports because I have Devin Singletary on my team, and it sounds like Devin Singletary may be out there for like a total of 5 snaps. Yeah, it's going to
Yeah,
be the Dameon Pierce show.
yeah. I drafted Dameon Pierce, so I hope he does well and gets a
Good
lot of
pick.
volume.
Good pick. I like that.
Um, okay, good pick. And I hope you're right because I have him on my team. I am gonna go Van Jefferson, wide receiver for the LA Rams. They play the Seattle Seahawks, so I don't love the matchup very much because it's at Seattle, but I do think Seattle is going to put up a lot of points. They kind of this new high-powered offense a little bit with Geno Smith, so I think the Rams are going to have to try to keep up. Matt Stafford's going to come back, and he needs a number one guy with Cooper Kupp out, so I think Van Jefferson steps in and does well. Kind of bouncing back from injury, stepping in for Cooper Kupp, who's not banged out, geez, banged up and out of the game. So I think
He's
Van
banging. He's
Jefferson does
banging.
well. Yeah.
I like that pick. Yeah, he's right now he's ranked as the for the week wide receiver 49. And I think that's a great like weekly pick, because next week Cooper Kupp could be back and then he'll probably maybe get 4 catches for 40 yards. But I like that pick this week because who the hell else is
Yeah. And
young Matthew Stafford going to throw it to?
even then, when Cooper Kupp comes back, he's not going to be probably at full health. And then, the Rams are going to be throwing it a lot this year. They need someone to throw to. So I think Van gets a lot of opportunities.
Yeah. Okay, let's get into the Lions and Chiefs game, the opener. Um, Talk a little bit about key injuries, what you're expecting. The spread's moved a lot. It opened at a full touchdown. The Chiefs were favored by. It's going to be at Kansas City. And with the injury news from Travis Kelce, and then I think is Chris Jones not playing either on the defensive side?
Yeah. Chris Jones isn't showing up to camp or practice. So he's out.
He's out. So now the spread has moved down to Kansas City favored by 4.5. How do you see this game playing out?
Yeah. I mean, historically, every time I've doubted Pat Mahomes and the Chiefs, they've kind of showed me that I'm an idiot. So I think the Chiefs do win. The question is, are they going to cover? Do they come out stumbling a little bit? Not having Kelsey is obviously his main target. Not having Chris Jones is the main like threat on the defensive line and one of the best interior defensive players in the entire NFL, one of the best defensive players in the NFL, period. So not having both of those guys who, are obviously key players on both sides of the ball is going to be a huge, huge knock on them. But the Lions, this is a big, big game for them. They got to come in. They have a big game on the road, and with all those Chiefs players out, it's going to be interesting to see if they can pull off the W. But I'm not touching this with a 10-foot pole as far as gambling, just because I just don't know how it's going to play out. What do you think?
Yeah, I just wanted to pull up some Patrick Mahomes highlights just in the background for anyone watching on YouTube.
Oh,
Um,
Kelsey, he's gone, so he can't throw it there.
that's the thing, right? So
Yeah,
yeah, he is incredible, but a lot of the great throws he has are to Kelsey. And I don't know who he's gonna focus on when they get in the red zone, when they're within like the 15, 20 yard line.
yeah. I mean, it's going to be tough. I think the Lions. I saw somewhere on Twitter. This is my source, so just pump the brakes on how much you believe it. But apparently, there's a lot of turmoil right now within the Lions locker room. I think there's a lot of great pass to Travis Kelce. He's going to be out. He's not going to be out there, but I think there's some problems internally with the Lions. I think Isaiah Buggs, their starting defensive tackle and one of the best defenders on that team, is going to be like a non-injury bench. Like they're going to bench him for no reason. I think just because there's problems going on. So that'll be something to watch. And then obviously Jamison Williams is suspended the first 6 games for I think gambling, and he's coming off an injured season last year. So they're gonna maybe just stumble out of the gate. I think it's gonna be a slow start for both teams, just trying to get their footing, and obviously a lot of pressure being the opening game of the season. So, like I said, I'm not touching it with a 10-foot pole with any of my money, but I'm
I
excited
don't
to
know,
watch.
dude. The one thing I would hit is the over. I mean, this game, I think I would bet like if it was over under was at 62. I mean, last year the Lions didn't have a shit for defense. And now with the Chiefs not having Chris Jones, I know they'll have other great pieces, but they won't be able to put as much pressure on Mr. Goff. I don't know. I could see this game easily being like a 35-30 game, right? Is that crazy?
I don't know. It's kind of crazy just because it's the first game of the year. Like they're getting out there. A lot of the like starters probably didn't play a lot in preseason, so they
That's
always
true.
like take a few drives to get going. And then even if they all have big, if both teams have big second halves, I mean, putting up a total of like, I think it's 53 and a half last time I checked. That's a lot of points. So, I mean, we'll see. I wouldn't hate the pick if you took the over because obviously I love to root for points. I love taking the over, but sometimes it just doesn't go as well as you'd hope.
Yeah. I honestly think the hyper on the Lions is a little too big right now. And so if I had to bet on it, and I think I will pick, I'll be going with the Chiefs. Even at -6.5, I think I'm going to take them. I think it's a little bit of a trap, that -4.5, how the line's been sliding and kind of tempting people to take the Lions. I don't know.
Yeah, I think I have to side with the Chiefs here just because, and I think in the pick 'em once like the original lines come out, it just is solidified like that, right? Like
Yeah.
right now I'm looking, it's live and it's Lions plus 6.5. So it's tempting to take the Lions 6.5, but I could easily see the Chiefs winning by a touchdown. And I just feel like an idiot.
Yeah, because you get the benefit, right? You know that if you actually had to put money on it right now, you'd have to buy the Lions at +4.5, and you can get them at +6.5. You get an extra 2 points, and you're just thinking to yourself, "Oh God, I can." That's going to really make a difference, but I don't know.
No, it's still only a matter of one touchdown. Like if it changes to 7.5, or if this would change, which it doesn't, then I would consider the Lions. But the Lions, knowing my luck, I would take them, and then there would be a tie game with 14 seconds left, and Pat Mahomes would take him down the field and score a touchdown right in my face, and I would lose. So
Yeah, yeah. So I
eh,
think I'm going to stick with the Chiefs on this. I don't know.
after losing a
But
significant chunk of change on the Super Bowl last year, I just don't know if I can find myself to bet against the Chiefs ever again.
you learned your lesson.
I learned my lesson.
Next one, big one for us. You being growing up, hailing from the great city of Milwaukee, but being raised a Bears fan. Uh, the Packers are coming into town for the first time in 15 years without Aaron Rodgers. And this is a great opportunity to just jam one down their throat and beat them, 34-7.
Yeah.
How are you feeling?
My expectations aren't that high. I do think that the Bears will win. I will probably put uh, a little safe, responsible wager on the Bears to cover the spread. I don't know what it's currently at. Do you know what it's currently at? Let's
I
see
think it's currently at 1 or 1.5.
on the pick 'em. It's Bears minus 1.5. I don't know if it's moved, but
It's moved a little bit, so Chicago is favored by just one right now.
oof. Yeah, I don't know, man. I think both receivers, both number one and number two receivers for the Packers are banged up. They didn't practice
Hamstring.
today, I don't think.
Yeah.
Hammies are tough. I
Yeah.
mean, obviously the Bears have some injuries as well, but I could just the Bears. This is an absolute must win. This is you have to go out there, you have to kick them in the teeth, and you have to put it on them. If you don't, and the Packers win, it's such a bad look for the Bears because they had like this incredible offseason. The Packers couldn't have had a worse offseason. They lost. They lost their Hall of Fame quarterback to the Jets. That just like was like I'd rather retire than be playing for the Packers. And then if they come in with Jordan Love, who we've all of the Bears fans across the country have said Jordan Love is ass. So if they come in and drop like 35 on us, I will just cry myself to sleep and kiss goodbye to whatever money I put in the Bears.
What how much do you plan on placing if you don't mind sharing?
I don't know, probably 25 to $50,
Not
depending on
bad,
how I
not bad.
feel
That's something you
close
can
to
live
the
with.
game.
Yeah, you can live with that. Yeah, I agree with you. This makes me a little nervous. I just saw the news tonight that Watson and Dobbs are out with the hamstring. I never know how to take these injuries. I don't know if teams are overly cautious right before games because it seems like everyone and their brother has a hamstring injury. So it's hard to tell, how serious these things are. But I don't know, like sometimes guys sit out the whole season like Jackson Smith and Jigba did in college last year with them.
Yeah, they can be really bad sometimes, and I think Cooper Cup has a bad hammy right now, right?
Yes.
Isn't that what he's trying? He's going to like all these experts and trying to figure out what's going on because the hammies can be brutal.
He got some plasma injection or something to help it heal faster. But yeah, it's not looking good for Cooper Cup's at least first couple weeks of the season for him.
I think I saw somewhere on Twitter like some people that drafted a fantasy team like a month or 2 months or 3 months ago, whatever it might be. And this is a lesson for those of you out there that try to do a fantasy draft like way before the season. Their first round pick was Travis Kelce, their second round pick was Cooper Cup, and their third round pick was Jonathan Taylor. So I don't know how they got all three of those guys at the time, but now all three of those guys are out. So that's a brutal
But
start to the draft.
it's funny you say that in the one fantasy, the dynasty league I do, Nick's cousin Dan has all three of those guys, and he's traded for Cooper Cup and Jonathan Taylor in the offseason.
Yeah, I thought you had Jonathan Taylor, right? So you must have traded with him.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, he feels the pain, and it's tough. These injuries beat the shit out of you, and that's why there's I feel like fantasy football is so much luck because on paper that's it. If 3 4 weeks ago that looks like a great first three picks of your draft, and now
Yeah,
it's
it just goes to show you. I mean, like, if the Packers called me and asked me to fill in for those guys, I would. But the problem is, when I had my ACL surgery, they took part of my hamstring to fix the ACL. So
oh
I've just never been the same since. Otherwise, I would definitely volunteer. But
they'd probably put you in questionable status because of your hamstring.
yeah, questionable weak hamstring. Yeah, it wouldn't even say injured hamstring; it just say weak hamstring.
um, who do you think in this game, if you had to pick one Bears player that's going to show out
I'm gonna.
near the
I
rain
mean,
games?
the easy pick is DJ Moore, but I'm not gonna go that route. I'm gonna say there's so much focus on DJ Moore that I think Darnell Mooney slides in there and has a great game. I think the Packers obviously have Jair Alexander, who's a really great cornerback, even though DJ Moore has dominated them the first two games that he's played against him. I think that all that attention towards DJ Moore and this whole offseason acquisition for DJ Moore and how the Bears are gonna now finally have a number one. I think Darnell Mooney slides in there, and him and Justin Fields have a great relationship. So I think he has a lot of success against the Packers' number two corner, who I really don't know who it is. It was Eric Stokes, I thought, but he's injured for this game, I think. So who's the number two DB for the Packers? You don't know, do you? Yeah, it's not
I
a
don't
good
think he's
sign.
injured. Are you sure he's injured?
This guy who's got yeah, I thought he was injured. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he's so bad that he didn't even make the injured list. So they don't even need to acknowledge him.
Mm.
Well, you're looking at the Cardinals right now. That does us no good.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry.
While you're scrolling for that, who do you think is gonna do well from at least a fantasy perspective in this game?
I don't know, dude. I mean, you said Eric Stokes. I don't
Eric
know.
Stokes out.
Oh, so who's after him?
I don't know. That's what I asked you. You're the season ticket holder.
Dude, dude, I have no idea. Let me look at their roster. Anyways, I'm gonna pick one of the receiving options, the young guys. I'll go Luke Musgrave, the tight end, if especially if Watson and Romeo Dobbs or even one is not playing. He's been running like almost every route with the first team offense in the preseason, and Jordan Love seems to target him a decent amount. He's a freak athlete. So I would go Luke Musgrave. I mean, we're kind of picking position players, but we like fantasy. So let me pull up. I would want the depth chart, right, to do this research.
Yeah, I do the depth chart. Yeah, I think that's a good pick. I think Luke Musgrave, he has to fill in for the loss of Robert Tanyan. I think with a new quarterback, you're kind of looking to those easy passes. You're trying to make those the short ones, the sure passes to get some more confidence. I think he's going to look to the tight end position a lot to find those openings.
Eric Stokes is the third.
Oh, okay. So you got Rasul Douglas. He's a corner. I thought he was a safety, and then Carrington Valentine
Carrington
out of
Valentine. I
Kentucky.
think this must be that guy from Cincinnati.
He's a rookie out of Kentucky. I thought.
I'm smoking something. Yeah, round 7 pick.
All right, seventh round pick's gonna be on Darnell Mooney, so we're gonna see how
Jesus
that plays
Christ.
out.
Oh boy. Oh, that'll be fun to watch. Okay, yeah, I like our discussion on the Bears Packers. I hope for a good one though. I hope that's what I want.
Yeah.
Nice
Here's the
clean
one.
game.
Here's my problem. It's a personal problem. It doesn't have to relate to anybody listening to this, but I'm going to drive home this weekend. So that's back in obviously Milwaukee is an 8 hour drive. And the Packers game is not at noon. It's at 3:30. So I have to decide if I stay to watch that game and then drive back at like 7 and get back to Omaha really late, or if I like drive and try to listen to it on the radio or something.
How far is the drive?
Like 8, 7.5, maybe.
Can you leave really early?
I don't think I want to do that because then it feels like I'm not even home at all.
I mean, if you left at like 8 a.m., you get home at like 4.
Yeah, but then I'm just home 24 hours basically because I'm gonna get home at like 2 in the morning on Friday night.
Yeah, there's not really a good option here. I got to be
Yeah, no
quite
good
honest.
options. Maybe I stop halfway at like a bar or something and try to watch it there with like some locals in Pella, Iowa or something.
Yeah, there you go. I like that
That's,
idea
that's
the
probably the
best.
best bet.
Do you
Yeah,
got any friends you could stop and see in Des Moines?
Des Moines or Iowa City, maybe. Yeah,
Yeah, maybe something like that. Maybe a little mixture. Just you catch a 1/4 of the game on TV.
yeah. It'd be nice to watch it with like my brother and my old man though, you know. So maybe I just tough it out and just drive late into the night.
And then you have to work Monday.
Yeah, I do work Monday. Yeah, but I work at 12:30, so I got time to
Oh,
sleep
okay.
in.
Yeah, that's I forget your schedule's a little different. Maybe you should do that. Just one with the old man.
Yeah, just one with the old man at
You know, and
least.
you can look back in 20 years and say, remember we got to see him beat the piss out of the Packers?
The year that they won the Super Bowl, you remember that? We watched the opening game, watched them just beat the shit out of the Packers. Remember when Carrington Covington or whatever that Kentucky corner just got burned like 8 times
Yeah,
on
he
national
got
television
smoked like a cheap cigar, boy.
on America's Game of the Week?
Oh, yeah, that'll be a fun one to watch. I'm excited. It should be a nice day too.
You know something kind of devastating that I was thinking about recently is the move of Joe Buck and Troy Aikman to Monday Night Football last year. So the reason that it devastates me is because I actually really like Joe Buck. I used to hate him growing up. I don't know what made it turn for me. I think maybe just all his work he's done with baseball and everything. But I really like him now. I don't really like Troy Aikman, but I like Buck. And they switched to Monday night. And then there's the Manning cast on Monday night on ESPN2, which I also enjoy watching because I like the Manning brothers. So then I'm conflicted. I'm like, I don't know what to do because like before they had that terrible broadcast on Monday Night Football, so it was like a no brainer. It's like Brian Greasy, I don't know who else, but I was just like, all right, I'm just gonna watch the Manning cast and just try to just absorb their brains. But now I have this tough decision. Like, do you listen to Joe Buck? Do you watch the Manning cast? What do you do?
I think I go Manning cast. I think that's what I usually do.
It's a good segue into what you want to talk about next, the Monday Night Football game.
That is a good segue. Thank you.
It
It
looked
took
like
me
this
about
is.
two
It looks like
seconds.
this was not next on your agenda. It looks like you're wanting to talk about something different.
um, no, the Cowboys and Giants will be a pretty fun Sunday night game to watch. There's a lot of interdivisional rivalries this first week. A lot of good matchups. Looks like we got 10 minutes left. That's our 10-minute timer. We're doing good on time.
The clock
Uh,
is ticking.
so long story short, do you think let's just give a quick shot here. Do you think Dak Prescott or Daniel Jones wins that one?
I got to favor the Giants on that one. I got to favor the Giants. I don't like Dan Jones like you like Dan Jones, but I think I like Dan Jones more than I like Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott he's been kind of busted lately, honestly. He got injured that one season and then he came back and he's kind of busted. He throws a lot of picks. I just don't think he's the answer for Dallas. I don't think Dallas will ever get over the hump if they have Dak Prescott under center. So I see the Giants are not a better roster, but I think that they have a better top heavy roster with Dan Jones, Saquon Barkley. You got Kayvon Thibodeau on defensive end. You got I don't know. Names trip me up sometimes if I don't have like a
But
roster to look
receivers,
at,
they
but
don't really have shit for receivers. That's what it's
no,
crazy to me how they went out of this draft. I know they got that from Tennessee,
Jalen Hyatt.
Jalen Hyatt won the Bolitnikoff, really good player, but he was like a third round pick. He wasn't. Maybe he'll be a game changer. Who knows? I know he's a real burner, but not like a typical X big receiver. 6'2", 210 pounds. He's like a kind of a smaller guy. But yeah, they do have Darren Waller.
Darren Waller was a nice addition. Yeah,
That's
I
a
forgot
big
about him.
acquisition. So yeah, we'll see. I was confused. I don't. I think I must be missing something that it's at New York, but they're 3.5 point underdogs against the
Yeah,
Cowboys.
I don't really get it either because Barkley got paid, so he came back. He's playing. Like maybe I don't know. I don't know what's going on there either, but I think I'm going to take the Giants.
Yeah, and Mike McCarthy is now calling the plays on offense, and I've seen
Yeah,
that show.
which seems terrible. I mean, they went from Kellen Moore to Mike McCarthy. That's like going from Albert Einstein to Jake Sepka. I mean, it's just a recipe for disaster.
That should have been my lock of the week, dude. I think I'm gonna have to be putting a lot of money now that I think about that. Okay, yeah, this is probably the second game besides the Packers Bears I'm looking forward to because
Definitely.
we get to see Aaron Rodgers first regular season. And I forgot to mention this, but if the Packers do poorly enough, I could see Nick Dilts just becoming a Jets fan by game 6, week
I,
6.
I already have friends from back home in Wisconsin that are just rooting for the Jets because they're Aaron Rodgers guys, not Packers guys.
Dude, that pissed me off. You fucker goes over to the Jets and takes a $20 million pay cut. And when he was here we're playing for the only team that's owned by the fans, he tries to milk us for all we're worth.
Good for him. Screw the Packers and screw their fans. And he takes not only does he go over there and middle finger to your guys' face, he takes Randall Cobb, he takes Alan Lazard. So that's a tough loss. Like I picked Alan Lazard in one of my fantasy leagues. I think he's banged up this week, but he could be solid. He has a great
Yeah.
relationship with Aaron Rodgers already. I think he's like the number 2 guy behind Garrett Wilson. So
Good touchdown guy too. He's like 6'4", 230, like really big target in the end zone. So I bet you he'll get another 7 or 8 touchdowns this year for sure.
yeah, I agree. He was more of like a tight end in college, so he's got
Yeah.
that frame.
Um, I It'll be interesting. I think there's a lot of hype around the Jets. They're on Hard Knocks. The expectations are through the roof. Could the Buffalo Bills come out and just blow them out of the water? Could this be just an absolute shellacking?
Yeah, this is another game that I don't think I'm going to touch with my actual money. But I think if I had to go one way or the other, I'd pick Buffalo. I think, like you said, a lot of the attention is on New York. I think Aaron Rodgers, like just being Aaron Rodgers, has a ton of expectations where he's getting old. He's like 39, and not everybody's like Tom Brady, where you can play well in your age 45 season. So Aaron Rodgers is probably obviously on the downslope of his career, and Josh Allen is what 27, 28, maybe even younger than that. Like, I think the Bills are just going to come out and punch him in the mouth. I think the Jets kind of come in with this swagger. They're kind of this dream team. You add all these great free agents. They got Delvin Cook and they got all this excitement. Well, Brees Hall's banged up. Alan Lazard is probably going to be out, if not banged up. So I think the Jets are going to be kind of outmanned, and the Bills are going to come in and punch them in the mouth.
Yeah, it'll be. I mean, I'm going to watch the whole thing. It'll be fun to watch for sure. But offensively, they got a lot of weapons. I just know that line has been the main struggle. What I hear reading training camp reports on the Jets, that's where the struggle is the line. So, like any quarterback, if you can knock him on the ground a few times, you can get Aaron Rodgers a little bit rattled.
Yeah. The offensive line has been a struggle, they said.
For the
Yeah.
Jets. For the
Yeah.
Jets. Yeah.
But their defensive line is like stupid good, I
Oh
think.
yeah, it's crazy, dude. Their defense is phenomenal, and I think maybe that's why the training camp reports are kind of bad towards the line. Right? They are going against one of the better defensive lines
Yeah, they're just like
in the
shitting on
NFL.
their own team, and then they're like,
Right.
man, that's such a problem with like I read about all the Oregon Duck practices, and it's always just like the defense had a great day today, but it was against the offense. So then like the offense they had a terrible day, or it's like the offense just exploded today in practice. Well, why is the defense letting them explode on them? So it's always tough when you practice against your own team. But that's the cool thing about NFL is they like practice against other teams like before they play them in preseason.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and you always read about the fights. I just saw Cam Akers got kicked out of practice with the I don't know if it was with the Raiders or who it was, but the play was called dead, and someone tried to punch the ball out from him, and he just started taking swings at his head today, and he got kicked out of practice.
Oh no.
Little Cam Akers swinging at him, but
This is not the first time the Rams have had a scuffle. And I think last year Aaron Donald was swinging helmets around at people.
yeah, yeah. That's I mean, it's an aggressive sport. I definitely couldn't have made it. I'm glad I got out in seventh
No,
grade.
yeah, you would not last a minute in
No, you got to have
football.
a lot of testosterone, and I don't know.
I hated contact. That's why I was a quarterback. I just wore the red practice jersey and just hope nobody touched me.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, a lot of big games for this first week. I hope you get to watch it with your old man or at least some of the game and your brother. Are they both Bears fans?
Yeah, yep.
Okay. So you'll
That's
be
kind
in
of how
good
I
company.
how I grew up that way. So yeah.
Anything else? Any last minute words before we kick off
I think
football
just
season?
a piece of advice for those that are new into the league is, week one is always the toughest. No one, even the gambling sharps, I'm not talking about myself, obviously, if people know my gambling habits, they know I'm not a sharp. But for those that are professional gamblers, week one is always tough. You go in thinking you have a game plan, you think you know how things are going to unfold. There's upsets on upsets on upsets. We saw it in college football last weekend. Upset on upset on upset. So don't get discouraged if you do really terrible in week one, except for you, Nirvan. If you do terrible, then it's going to just be a chain of events throughout the entire season where you're going to suck again. So make sure you have a good week one, Nirvan. Otherwise, it's going to be a rough season for you. But everybody else, shake it off. Look forward to week two. Like Ted Lasso says, be a goldfish.
Good, that's good. And always believe, right?
Always believe.
Yeah, I think my main one would just be make all your picks. If you're in any pick 'em, just get something on the board.
It's
Don't
something
leave
on the
it
board.
open. It's a 50-50 shot at the end of the day.
You can't hit the board if you don't even throw a dart.
Right. Yes. So just put your picks in early, and if you want to change them, do that, before game time on Sundays. But just get all your picks in, and I think if you can go through the entire season and make a pick in every game, your chances of winning something go up quite a bit.
Yeah, we're looking at you, Sepka.
Yeah, we are. That's who I'm talking to. That is the only guy I'm really, really thinking of right now.
Get
But
the picks in.
get the picks in.
Set
All
a
right.
little reminder on your phone. Most of us have iPhones. Set a
I
little
text them
reminder.
anyways. I text everyone.
I know. Well, you're a good guy, but I would never text people. I would just root for their demise, unlike you. So just people set an alarm on your phone. Say, put the picks in every Wednesday or something. It's not that hard.
Hey, what time do you work tomorrow?
Me,
Yeah.
12:30 to 8:30. So
So
I'm gonna be
you'll
the
be catching
problem
the
is
second half.
the problem with my schedule is I'm gonna be missing a lot of Thursday and Monday night football. So that kind of sucks.
But you catch the second half of the games.
Yeah, but I'm not the type of guy that just likes to watch the second half, John.
You want the full experience.
I want the full experience.
All right. Well, hey, thanks for tuning in. I don't know why. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, I had to. I had no choice. I was talking half the time.
Okay. All right. Hey, I'll get this uploaded. You have a good Wednesday. Bear down.
Hey, bear down. Thanks everyone for listening. We'll see you. Good luck to you and your Packers, John.
Yep.
Godspeed.
Thanks. Bye.